Hey everyone. You know, I was just reading on my iPod from the Sonic Stadium and Sonic SatAM Sonic. Some people were kind of discussing the whole Genesis situation. You know, a lot of people, they just there's a few people. There's Laser X5. There's another person called well, if I can find it here, Puffy or Puffer or something like that. Just basically everyone kind of giving their opinions as to why this whole Genesis arc is occurring. You know, some feel that the reason Genesis is happening is the fact that Ian Flynn has wrote himself into a corner. Some feel that Ian only did this because he couldn't find a way out of what he had done. Basically the whole Sally situation. As we all know, apparently Sally got shot and killed, apparently, at the end of 225. Now, some people are saying that Genesis is sort of a way of getting out of the whole situation of Sally dying. Some feel that Ian writing Genesis and having Sally in there is a way of kind of getting the fans, the backlash of the fans off of him by saying, hey look, Sally's alive, I didn't really kill her. And I think honestly what it is folks, is it's not the fact that he wrote himself into a corner. It's basically a resetting. It's kind of like like an old story, or an old legend, if you will, a legendary myth going around in the world. You see, a lot of people believe that when the world comes to an end, that's it, it's done. But of course there are those that believe that the world comes to an end, all the world is redoing is resetting itself. As a matter of fact, I brought this up one time in one of my Bible study groups, and everybody agreed that this could be a situation with the whole revelations and stuff like that. But that's sort of what Genesis is. It's sort of like a resetting. It's kind of like going back in time, the whole world going back in time, and everybody kind of forgetting about what happened before, forgetting about the previous encounters and lives that they had elsewhere, and just starting out from scratch. That's basically, that's one of the legendary myths about what will happen when the world, either through the rapture or if the world supposedly ends. Everybody believes that one of the options is the world basically resetting itself, basically going back in time and resetting itself to a certain time period, and then thus proceeding, starting all over again, and thus proceeding from there. That's sort of what Genesis is. And essentially somebody, I think if I can find them here, Puffin Grandor, said that this is basically what it is, and Laser X5 sort of agrees on that as well. Basically, one of the things that Puffin said here was when Eggman hit the button, it made Genesis start, which was his whole big deal since the Iron Dominion arc. Since Iron Dominion arc had ended. Interviews say life hangs in the balance. During Genesis Part 3, we see in the preview says old memories resurfacing, and he basically says it's not just a detour from the plot, it's a major focus on the plot, and that when Eggman hit the button to change everything, that was Genesis starting. So basically that's what it is. It's like if somebody decided to hit the reset button on our world, we'd start all over again from a different time period, or from a certain time period without any memory of our previous lives. Now, Laser X5 again points out that, you know, Sally was probably killed by that gun in 225. We're not really sure yet. But that since Ian Flynn doesn't want to suffer the wrath of the fans who care about this character, he made this Deluxe X Mecha style story to cover his hide, so he could say, hey, see, Sally's alive. As a matter of fact, you can see that right there. That's sort of where I'm getting the information. I don't know if you, right there, that's sort of where I'm getting the information. Oops, went off. But that's basically what he's saying. You know, that Ian is basically painting himself into a corner here. But later on, he, like I said, he does agree sort of with what Puffin said. But the Deluxe Mecha that he's talking about here, if you will, the Deluxe Mecha he's talking about again, if you will, is the whole fact that when Genesis ends, who's to say that Sally won't still be alive afterwards? That's the whole Deluxe Mecha he's talking about, that Laser X5 is talking about, that Ian is basically trying to do with this story. The fact that he doesn't want people to, the fact that, I guess in his mind, Ian says, alright, with the Genesis thing at the end of 225, that's the end of that, but when Genesis starts, Sally's death is null and void, if you will. So basically she stays alive. But then here's the question. Is it a deluxe? Is it in that style? We don't know. But this is what everybody believes. That some people believe, like these two believe, like Laser X5 believes, you know, that Ian basically painted himself into a corner. You know, Puffin came out and said, and I think Laser X5 said something similar, that, you know, Ian probably knew people were going to figure out what was happening, so he had to figure out a way to kind of get his, you know, save his ass, if you will, from humiliation or something like that. You know, that's basically what it is. You know, and some people on here as well, like Furry Kef and Henry Triple I, if you will, have basically said that this whole situation, like Furry Kef says this on June 11th. They say, boy, it must be nice to be a writer for a kid's comic book based on a video game. No need for real drama or telling an interesting story. Just kill somebody and come up with utter bullshit to cover it up. And that's basically what it is. And, you know, and they say that's pretty much what it is. It's Ian Flynn's get out of jail cards for him. Apologistics is basically, this is Ian's apologistics get out of jail card stuff defending his work. So, but anyway, what it is overall, folks, is some people believe, you know, somebody on here has even said that Genesis is not really necessary, was not necessary at all, because we had seen something similar with this before. The only difference is it's spanning over a whole 4-month arc, and that, you know, sarcastically they say, oh yeah, you know, kids just love to wait to find out what happens next. And I'm not saying they don't, but to wait this long, to wait almost 4 months to find out exactly what happens to certain characters, what effects it's going to have, I don't know. You know, but overall, people just have their own different opinions about Genesis, and, you know, that we can't really change that. You know, some people feel it's not necessary, that we had seen the life hanging in the balance situation before. Some people say that it is necessary to the story, because even though it kind of like reminds them of Infinite Crisis, ISIS, if you will, 0 hour and stuff like that, that it is necessary to the story. And and others feel that it's just Ian's way of trying to cover his hide for what he did. Like, okay, I have Eggman hit the reset button, everything starts all over again, and Sally's death becomes null and void. But some basically feel that this is Ian's way of saying, yeah, I killed off Sally, but look, she's still alive because her death became null and void when everything got reset. Now that's how everybody looks at it. So overall, people just have their own opinions about it. Like I say, some feel Ian's just using this to cover his hide for certain things that he's done. Some feel that it feels that Genesis is not really necessary, and it's not really necessary to do. And others feel that it's all part of the continuity, needs to take place, and that this is what's happening, and this is why. So give me your thoughts about it. Tell me what you guys think. Do you agree with what people like Laser X5 and Henry Triple I and Puffin Goddard and Furry Kev said and others say? Tell me what you guys think. Comment down below, and I'll talk to you later.